All right, welcome back to another episode of Travel Ball Talk. I'm your host, Rich Prado, owner of Play in School. And today I'm playing through an injury. I just smashed my finger like you wouldn't believe in the door. But we're talking to Beast Baseball, and I just told Dave Miele, our guest, and his partner, Greg Ross, that I wanted to just be a beast as well today. So I'm going to power through. I'm bleeding all over my desk here. But we'll work our way through this. Dave, Greg, welcome to Travel Ball Talk, man. How are you guys doing?
Doing awesome, man. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, man. Thank you for having us.
So this is kind of cool. They just wrapped up camp. Are you guys at Johns Hopkins University today? Is that where you're hosting camp?
Yes, sir. So we've been here since Monday. We're here Monday through Friday, 9 to 3 p.m. We got our elite summer baseball camp out here at Johns Hopkins in the beautiful Babb Field at Stromberg Stadium.
That's so cool. You literally wrapped up camp, walked over to a quiet corner of the grounds there, and put me on speakerphone, and we're rocking a podcast episode. So obviously, for those of you guys listening at home, if you're familiar with Johns Hopkins, you know we're in the Baltimore, Maryland area, which is host or home rather to Beast Baseball. What I want to do is step out of the way for a second, and you guys can go in either order, but I want to get to know a little bit about your backgrounds, Dave and Greg, and you don't have to go all the way back to T-ball, but give us the high-level bullet points, and then I know just enough of the story of where Beast came from, but once we get to know you guys a little bit, we'll walk our way through the sort of the foundation of Beast. So one of y'all jump in and introduce yourself so that we can know the difference in voices too.
Cool. So Dave Miele here. I am one of the co-owners of Beast Baseball. Started my playing days back in Northeast Pennsylvania. Grew up in the Lehigh Valley. Played high school ball through there, did a little junior college at Lehigh Carbon Community College, and then from there I got a small scholarship to play at Shepherd University in West Virginia. Played there, finished up my playing career there, and then went off to coach college ball at Frostburg State University. I was there for 2 years, and then from there I got into the youth game, started coaching out in D.C. for a company called Koa Sports, did that for a year, and then I ran into a company in the Baltimore area where I was living. So I kind of got rid of that commute to D.C. and started working for a company called Impact Baseball. Helped run their camps. I was the director of operations for them for about 6 years. I was running their camps. I was doing private lessons and instruction, small group clinics, stuff like that, coaches seminars, teaching other coaches, working with local youth rec leagues and training their staff and getting them up to par and up to speed on how to work with the youth athlete today. So I did that for a few years, and then COVID hit. Once COVID hit, the owner of Impact decided to call it quits, and we had all the relationships built with our athletes in the area, and we wanted to start our own thing, and that's kind of how we got involved as Beast Baseball.
Cool. Greg, introduce yourself. Give us your quick bio.
Yep, Greg Ross, also co-owner, director of player development. I've grown up in the Baltimore area, went to Loch Raven High School, went on to junior college as well, played at CCBC Essex, and transferred out to Frostburg State University for 2 years where I met Dave. He was a coach, big mentor for me. I had aspirations to play college baseball. I felt the talent was there. Dave helped me, and the coaching staff there helped me mentally prepare. In 2011, I was selected by the Atlanta Braves in the 18th round. I played professionally. I finished up my career with the Nationals in 2018. I got as high as AAA with them, so had a long, lengthy career there in the minor league system. Dave and I stayed in contact. He was still with Impact, so once I was released by the Nationals, I still tried to play a little bit, but went right into coaching. So they had a spot for me. I jumped on as kind of a pitching coordinator to help out with athletes in the area. As he said, COVID hit, so we decided to keep this thing rolling, and we started Beast Baseball right from there in 2020. We've been growing ever since. It's been a fun ride.
That's cool. Before we keep moving forward, I want to go back. There's been a couple of organizations named that happen to be run by guys I know. Just, I've been around for so long. The first one that Dave mentioned was Koa Sports. If anybody's from the D.C. area, they're going to recognize that name. That's Tony Corson runs Koa, and this is a multi-sport organization. Kind of I don't know how Tony would describe it. Maybe Dave, would you? It's not really. Is it kind of like a rec organization, but or like an alternative to the local rec organization? How would you describe? Because they're doing baseball, field hockey, basketball, flag football, all these different things, right? So it's not just baseball. How would you describe Koa?
I would say, I think when I was there, we were named as like the largest youth sports company in the DC metro area. And you're absolutely correct. They have multiple sports and different tiers of skill levels. So I think they do offer programming for the rec level athlete all the way up to your more competitive, guys going off to college and girls going off to college to play their respective sports.
That's absolutely correct. They do offer like their higher end travel ball, but that's not all they do. And the reason I sort of bring this up, it's kind of, I sort of pose the question all the time, like in our baseball world. Well, I'm always like, why aren't the travel baseball organizations also offering travel softball? But then you can take that question a little further and go, well, why aren't they offering field hockey or basketball? Or, I'm just looking at the list of offerings he has, or field hockey, or flag football, right? All these things. Because it's obviously just running one is hard. So he's obviously, pretty organized to be able to offer all these different sports. The other organization that was mentioned by Greg was CCBC Essex. For those of us not from the area, can you tell us what CCBC stands for?
It's the Community College of Baltimore County. So they have 3 campuses. There's Catonsville, Dundalk, and Essex. They're a local, community college that they compete. I think Essex recently, competed in the World Series, I believe. So
well, and that's what I wanted to bring up was that they're coached by a good dude named Sean O'Connor, and he's been there 3 years, I think. So that was cool to hear you drop CCBC Essex. Not a name I hear every single day.
Yeah, we stay in contact. He reaches out. We reach out to him. We try to, continue athletes' development and get them to the next level. So when I was there, it was a gentleman named Mark Palmerino. I believe he's a coach at Genesee School now. But, yeah, there's been, I think, a few coaches in between, and then Sean has landed a spot there, and it seems like he's got a really good program over there.
Yeah, he's going to do a good job. Great dude. So cool. I just wanted to go back, kind of highlight those two things that are part of y'all's resumes, and highlight a couple of pretty good dudes. Now, if we were following along, we sort of picked up that Beast, like so many other people, Beast was a COVID baby of sorts. A lot of people I think had COVID babies. You guys happen to have a baseball COVID baby. So there was another organization that Dave was a part of, and that guy was basically like, I don't want to run these camps. And Dave was like, yeah, but I do. Is that sort of the genesis? Is that simplifying it too much?
Yeah, that's pretty much what happened. Right when COVID hit, he jumped on a call with myself and Greg, because Greg was working for me too at the time. And he basically let us know, hey guys, unfortunately with COVID, I don't know where this is going to head. I don't know when we're going to be able to start our programming again, because the country shut down. And he just decided, hey, I'm gonna stop doing this thing, and we cut ties, and we started our own thing because we didn't want to stop doing what we've been doing our whole life, and it's our mission in life to kind of give kids the experiences that we might have had and better.
Yeah.
And that's kind of why we do what we do. We want to share the experiences and the relationships and everything that baseball has given us in our lives with these kids that might want to pursue it at a high level, like we have the opportunity to.
So I'm over on the It's beastbaseballmd.com. Beast Baseball MD from Maryland. And one of the things I'm just like anybody else, I suppose, I'm really attracted to logos and branding. And I'm looking over here at the Beast logo, and it jumps out at me that Beast is spelled in all capital letters. Well, the way my mind works is I kind of assumed right out the gate. I said, I think that stands for something. And sure enough, I'm scrolling the website, and, well, I don't see it this second. I don't know where I was on the website. But Beast didn't just come out of thin air. Beast has a meaning, and I'm trying to find it so I can, where'd it go?
Yeah, so basically what it stands for is be the best version of yourself every day. You're your only competition. Elite athletes are confident equally in their successes and their failures. Athleticism through development, students of the game and life, and trust the process. We just kind of took, the letter from the word beast, and each letter kind of has a sentence that is kind of our mission and what we set out and what we stand for, our moral values as an organization and as a company.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Like it's just a reminder right on your hat or right on your right on the front of your jersey every single day of what's the purpose of being out there. And it's literally just right there in big bold letters, BEAST, Beast. And the reason I keep losing it is because it scrolls. That's why I just figured it out on the it's on the homepage, but it's kind of that image scrolls through. So that's pretty cool. Like what's the conversation about, or like how does that go? I mean, this is a brand new, literally COVID baby, and you're leaving behind this other brand, this other organization, this other teams and camp, and you guys are forming something brand new from scratch. Like what's that brainstorming session sound like or look like to come up with Beast?
I think it was kind of formed as we were, the back end of the previous company. We felt like we wanted to take it to the next level. We were pretty much the head of the company, the faces of it. And when this opportunity, arose, we decided to talk about it. And it was a very brief. I mean, Beast came up pretty quickly. And it's cool because, we've never really owned anything. So that whole process was fun in itself, getting the LLC, the trademark, all that stuff that goes into the logistics part that we didn't know about. But yeah, finding the brand and just, who we are, because we feel like that's what we stand for. Is everything we do in our life, we try to be a beast and we try to be the best at it. So we kind of played with it, thought of the name. We reached out to someone as far as getting a logo kind of made, and we have the whole, beast scratch marks in it, which thinks, it's not just the letters there, it's just something more to it. And like you said, the mission behind it. But yeah, I mean, it kind of just rolled through. We thought of the colors, black and red. It just kind of stuck with us, and we just kind of went from there. And it was just a couple months really, and we were back running. Obviously, with some, with COVID going on, we were taking precautions as we needed. But I mean, we wanted to keep going as soon as possible. We had a lot of athletes that wanted to continue with us as well, and it just kind of flowed into place, and we were able to start back up right in that August. And just do what we could as the nation kind of, developed and grew with the COVID issue. But, it just kind of flowed. And we've been together for a while now since college, and we've just been like-minded. And it was cool to how Beast has started because, like I said, Dave's been a huge mentor to me and really helped me get to the next level because it's not just your physical part, it's your mental part. And Dave is a huge aspect of that when it comes to, driving that mission into athletes to be the best, not just on the baseball field. We love to hear about athletes outside, other curricular activities, their schooling, trying to get them to college, whether it's baseball or not. And that's just building those relationships. And we have so many kids in here that come through our system at individual lessons or the camps, and then they move into our teams, and then they go off to college. And then some of those kids that play in college or just attend college are now working for us. So they're able to help out and be assistant coaches and stuff. So it's not just a one-stop shop. I mean, we're in for the long haul. And we want to continue to help this area grow and just being good people and being good young men and athletes.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. As you were talking about that, one thing that kind of came to mind is how many businesses across the country not only struggled but failed and just closed up shop in those early days of COVID. And some of that stuff wasn't because of COVID. It was, if you're a restaurant that closes 1 week after a shutdown, you weren't a successful restaurant, right? You were day to day as it was. It wasn't being closed for 1 week. You can't say that was because of COVID, but you guys did just the opposite. You created something, you built something, and that's it's counterintuitive, but you see the people and the businesses that can not only get founded during hard times, but then also thrive and grow during hard times. Boy, you're just like setting yourself up for big time success moving forward. So that's pretty awesome. It's like, gosh, so we're recording this. If you're listening to this in a decade into the future, we're recording this here June 22nd, 2022. And, I think there's some writing on the wall that economically things are getting a little bit tougher. And so there's this next season, who knows how long it's going to be, if it's going to be 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, where the economy may be pretty tough. And we're going to see some people who are just like, yeah, I'm done. They're going to wave the white flag and they're going to shut their doors. It's going to be awesome to see, like, you guys went from 0 teams to 3 teams through COVID. Which organizations can go from 3 teams to 9 teams in the next, call it whatever, 24 months or 36 months, while other organizations go from 9 teams to 0 teams, because it's coming. And so, you gotta be sort of not just prepared, but planning. You know what I mean? It's constantly planning. Is this like, am I being like overly sensitive to the news, or are these thought processes kind of going through y'all's heads too, as far as like, how are we going to not only beat this thing, but how are we going to grow during tough times?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we're always trying to stay ahead, and that's kind of, I think, what makes us successful is that, we don't wait till the end of a season to start the next season. Like, we start a season and we're planning for the next one already. So it's just, trying to stay a step ahead. And that's what we teach all of our athletes. That's what we teach all of our coaches, is that we always need to be one step ahead so that we're prepared for when those kids show up and they're ready for us. And that's the most important thing. Yeah,
great advice. One step ahead. I love that. Now, so you guys, like I just referenced, you guys are, I think up to 3 teams, right?
Yes.
What is sort of, again, we're like mid-June right now. What are the summer plans for each of these teams? Where are you guys headed? Is it mostly local? Is it regional? Are you guys flying all over the country? Like, what's the game plan for these 3 teams?
We stay pretty local. I mean, we kind of go to Pennsylvania, Delaware, maybe Virginia. Our older teams, when we feel like they're ready, we'll go down to Georgia, Florida, and travel a little bit more, get some of those older guys some exposure. But we pretty much start in the fall. We start with fall with a couple practices, then we go into tournaments, and then they take 2 months off where we have mandatory strength and conditioning. We link up with Prime Sports Performance over in the Essex area. Good friend of ours, Andrew Sachs, who we went to Frostburg with. He owns his own facility over there, and he's got a ton of talented athletes coming through, some professional guys during the off season, college guys trying to get to the next level. So we're fortunate enough to keep those guys under our thumb and make sure they're developing the right way. And then we go into our winter where we just practice pretty much all the way up until the high school season. And then our athletes go off pretty much end of February, beginning of March. They go off to the respective high school seasons. And then they link back up with us, which is pretty much May, and then they'll go pretty much until mid-July of more tournaments and teams and stuff. We do have some team building stuff in between there. We have some seminars where we do some college recruiting. We bring some local coaches on and talk about that process, not just with the athletes, but the parents. We've done some mind and body seminars where we talk about nutrition, sleep management, all the important things that are not just on the field that to prepare. We'll bring some cool guests on. Like I've had the Washington National strength coach, RJ Geyer, on. We've had some other local, coaches and people that are experts at this, just to kind of keep, get it from another ear or another voice, talking about the entire process. So that's pretty much the full season there. We have a little bit of time off after July into August, where they just kind of rest up and get ready for it again. But as far as the preparing for the, what's to come, we pride on building relationships, and we trust that what we do is the right way, and we do it with passion. And with any uncertainty, when we run these camps and we put out advertisement, we put out tryouts and teams, that we're going to get the quality people because we build those relationships and we do it the right way. And we care about those kids and families with passion and respect. And I think that's what's kind of helping us grow, is those people that have that decision to make whether they want to continue. We stick out and they want to continue us because they know they're in a good place and they know that their kids are growing and being disciplined and just learning from people who love it. And that's a huge part of why we've been able to grow so fast. So, we bet on ourselves and we try to do it the right way every single day. So, yeah.
That's cool. It's like one thing I was, it's you guys and myself, we maybe take this a little bit for granted. I've talked to so many coaches from across the country, and there are circumstances where geography is a major hurdle. When you're out in the middle of nowhere, Colorado, and there's no baseball tournaments being played close by, well, guess what? Every single week you got to go somewhere. But being in the in the Baltimore area, golly, you guys are hop, skip, and a jump away from Philly, DC, Richmond. Diamond Nation is very not terribly far from y'all, and Baseball Heaven. Baseball Heaven's not terribly far up the road, and it's like, wow, like leverage that, that benefit that you guys have. Even, it's funny. I had on Dave Wigman from Delmarva Aces on the podcast recently, and he's not far from y'all,
right?
He's he's down there in the Delmarva Peninsula. He's not far, but he is far. And I think he and I talked about that. It's like, yeah, like the way the crow flies, he's close to stuff, but that doesn't work when there's as many bridges and tunnels as he has to navigate just to get out of that region he's in down there, surrounded by water.
Right.
Yeah, man. So that's cool. You guys can do so many day trips up to Philly.
Yeah, we got a lot of options with tournaments that are local, that are still high quality. They're going to attract the kids that love baseball and want to play at the next level. So it's competitive. We participate in perfect game tournaments. We participate in Future Stars with a Z. We do dynamic sometimes. We're starting to get in with Prospect Select.
Yeah.
Past tournaments are up here running at Towson University. That's where my 18Us are this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we try to find tournaments that are a good fit for our kids, where we're playing against other kids that are somewhat the same caliber, and we're going to be challenged.
Mm-hmm. I think you hit on something. It's like it doesn't make a lot of sense to go to the event that's going to be well attended by college coaches that aren't the target market for your players,
exactly.
Right? So if you can get in front of the target market and versus similar competition, that's going to be way more. You're going to get way more ROI off of that than going to the flashy tournament that costs the the families from an organization $50,000 to go, all in for all the families, and that's cool if all the SEC schools are represented there. But it's like if you don't have SEC dudes, then we're in the wrong place.
Exactly, and that's why we're heavy on development, because we want to prepare athletes to shine when they're ready, and with our stories and where we came from, we played in the backyard up until college ball. So, if you really love the game and you take it the right way and you approach it daily and work on your craft, you're going to open the doors for yourself. And honestly, yeah, it's great to do all these trips. Obviously, Cooperstown's wonderful for kids and stuff like that, or these perfect games at a young age. But, Dave's experienced so much more as we get later in life, and that are, I think, bigger. We won a conference championship in college, and I played professionally, or we're still competing in a men's league where we go down to Myrtle Beach and we travel and play other teams from the nation. We win that tournament. That's like, you got to be prepared for that, and that's what we try to hone in on. So, yeah, we get some parents that talk about, hey, let's go to this, but we want to make sure that guys are ready and, are prepared for the next level, not just as athletes but people, and that's huge for what we do.
Yeah. Man, like I've seen some organizations, this could be advice for y'all, but it's really just advice for anybody who might be in this circumstance. I've seen families that will almost like blackmail an organization into signing up to go to events that they have no business being at, right?
Yep.
Because it's almost like, and I've said this before on the pod, I think it's almost like these giant events in Atlanta, they have become the Cooperstown of the older age groups. And so these kids grew up Cooperstown. It's like a rites of passage. And then all of a sudden they're like Atlanta. And I've seen parents who are just like, well, if you're not going to Atlanta, we're not playing with y'all. And I'm like, okay, well, that's that's a decision you need to make. And honestly, it's like some clubs, like if you've got one dude who needs to go play in front of ACC or SEC staffs, cool. Guess what? They're one of the other 350 or 400 teams there would gladly take that kid on their roster so he can go. But the ROI to take 15 to 20 guys down there who don't necessarily it's just not there in a lot of circumstances. So I don't know. That wasn't specifically directed at y'all, but I've seen a lot of clubs get sort of blackmailed. Like they know they're going to go down there and go 1-7, and that's a lot of money to go down there and get your teeth kicked in.
Exactly. And that doesn't help your team or the team that's kicking your teeth in get any better. So
correct.
Try to find that are a good fit for our guys. And like you said, if we have a guy that, is a high profile kid, then that's when we contact the coach and get him out there to a camp that school in particular is running.
Correct. I think that's a great piece of advice. Hey, I want to, I sent Dave some of the sort of the standard questions that I like to ask coaches, and I want to hit on a couple of these. And I'm looking at the clock and want to make sure I'm respectful of y'all's time. So the first one I want to ask is always fun because I never know what direction people are going to go with this. The question used to be just what book do you recommend, but you know what? I'm sort of in a season of life where reading's kind of hard. I got a 6-year-old and not a lot of deep couch sitting with a 6-year-old flying around the house. So I changed the question. What book, movie, website, or any other resource do you think every coach should take a look at?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I've always been a fan of the baseball movies. For me, being a pitcher for love of the game, Kevin Costner, it's one of my favorites. As far as books, I've come across later in my career was Pitching ABCs. Mm-hmm. I believe was Leo Mazzoni. And then Odd Man Out was a cool book that was sent to me. It was about a gentleman in the Harvard came from Harvard School, got a chance to play professionally, and just kind of talked about the grind of minor league baseball and how everyone thinks professional baseball is all, rainbows and unicorns, but the early stages of it is really, really tough, and there's a lot of sacrifices going into it. So that was cool to just kind of read through that as I'm going through it. So, I mean, as far as literature, it was kind of for me later on in my career.
You bring up such a good point with that book. We're crossing this kind of interesting threshold in college baseball where the facilities are so phenomenal, and even mid-majors and lower are investing a lot of money into very nice, shiny, comfortable things. And you're gonna see kids who are put in the decision like I'm not talking about the kid who's being a first rounder who's going to be offered millions of dollars. I'm talking about the 18th rounder, like I think Greg said. Like does an 18th rounder this year sign and go to some podunk little town where he's going to ride some bus 7 hours to a road game? Or is he going to stay another year in the ACC where he is pampered and has, world-class everything at his disposal? You know what I mean? Like, I think we're going to see a lot of kids who are like, yeah, I'm going to stick around campus another year because things are getting so good at the college level.
I mean, that's definitely, again, it goes down to betting on yourself. I mean, if you have the opportunity, for me, I was a senior, so I didn't have a choice. It was either
of course
real world. But yeah, I mean, there's definitely, they cut down the rounds, I think right around when I was, getting drafted and stuff, because the last few rounds, even 15 nobody was signing. So they were just like, you know what, let's cut it down, try to get more guys in. But yeah, I mean, that's the question, if you've got somebody that's been through it that can express it and say, hey, this is going to be tough, but there is an opportunity at the end of the tunnel that you want to work for. That is, you're going to turn that comfortable, facility and all that into something completely greater.
100%. It's not designed for comfort. Like nobody, there's no motivation for the owner of a big league organization to pamper some guy in low A. It's like the classic line. If you want better, if you want the millions of dollars, it's available to you. You just got to get up to the highest level. Like, come get it. You know what I mean? Come get it. We want it for you. Now come get it.
Right.
All right. Any other books, movies, websites, anything else?
Yeah, I think the one book for me when I was a kid, I read this, I think when I was about 15 years old. It's called Mental Toughness, Baseball's Winning Edge. It's written by Carl. I think that book really helped me kind of just understand that baseball is so much more than a physical game, and how to approach failure and how to overcome it quickly in those moments where you did just fail and you feel like you let your whole team down or whatever it may be. And how do you get back up from that and stay at a certain, mental toughness? I just think that book is an important read for so many kids. And I always recommend a lot of my athletes within Beast and also at my high school where I'm the head coach at St. Paul's School in Maryland. So,
say the name of the book. Say the name of the book and the author one more time.
The book is called Mental Toughness, Baseball's Winning Edge. It's written by Carl Kuehl, Kuehl.
Okay, cool.
Really good book. Highly recommend it to all athletes that are playing this game, and even just other sports too. I know it's more towards baseball, but I feel like a lot of these, mental approaches to the game and how to overcome that failure and adversity, I think it applies to, multiple avenues in life.
Great suggestion. All right, I'm gonna skip ahead because I think this is a question you guys will have a unique perspective on, being that you're so close to this. What's one piece of advice you'd give someone that's just starting? And you guys were just there just a couple short years ago. So if somebody else is thinking about jumping in and doing something on their own, what do you tell that guy?
Have a game plan. Have a game plan. Be passionate about what you do. Thoroughly think it out. We've had a lot of people in our circle about, kind of asking those questions because, when you jump all in, we're ready to go. There are a lot of logistics to it, not just on the field, but behind. But I mean, put things in place and just kind of put out a different, bunch of different, avenues and see where you want to go. And ultimately what's your end goal and how can you get there?
Mm-hmm.
Like we talked about, there are some uncertainties, but I think with us and starting this, we kind of had a handle of how we wanted to approach it. We started mapping out our years. We started mapping out, what goes into the day-to-day basis. We're here at camp sometimes. We're on field with our guys, but at the same time, we find some time to get on the computer and start doing some things. We send out emails to parents, or we start to market our fall camps or whatever it may be, and just work on the administrative stuff. So,
can you zoom out on that for a second? You say you're literally taking a look at it from on a 12-month period. What are some of the things you might be looking at specifically?
As far as what
you said you plan for a year, like how what are some of the things you're that you're specifically talking about,
okay,
as far as like how those conversations are going, it's you started 12 months out and then you're breaking it down by month, by week, by day. Like what are some of those things how are you able to look past the end of your the end of your reach right in front of you, right?
Yeah, I mean, we got our travel teams. We make sure we have our deadlines in place of whether it's uniform ordering, like I said, starting to get facilities paid for in advance to make sure that we're ready. Making sure our athletes are locked into strength and conditioning on the daily basis. We're doing reach out, customer relations, trying to get kids to our camps or individual lessons, which we're doing on a day-to-day basis. So we're on the field a lot of hours, but we're also in front of the computer or trying to do reach out on a day-to-day basis as well. We've got team insurance, we've got camp insurance, we've got all those things, make sure payments come in. It's a lot, and it's just us two. So, I mean, we have a calendar out for the year. As far as the next few years, we like to grow, but we also like to keep it small and intimate because the quality. There are a lot of big organizations that do this that are successful because they have the personnel. And I think with us over the last 2 years, we've been able to grow and start to make some noise to bring the quality coaching that comes in, because that's where I feel like baseball can be kind of lost in the youth area. We're very, for dads to go out and volunteer, that's awesome. But you hear some stories, we're on the Maryland Travel Youth message board or wherever these platforms of, bad mouthing things and things that go wrong, with umpires or whatever it may be, that, we want to try to reach out and provide a quality of coaching that I think, like I said, is a lost art, because right now with technology, everybody knows what they're talking about, and that's great. But, is there a passion in there? Is there a discipline? Is there a long-term thing with trying to teach kids how to be, carry themselves the right way and the behavior? Because we do see a lot of, parents and coaches that, they lose perspective of that, and it makes it, a bad situation and experience for young kids. That I think that's why, this area kind of loses its interest in baseball, because it already is a long game. And, we understand that, and they're trying to change the game and the rules and all that to make it quicker, but, it's not for everybody. So if you can, kind of hone in on that at a young age and just tell them to work hard and just love what they do, that's what's going to help the youth, in this area continue to thrive and want to continue it at a higher level. We just see a lot of that, and that's one of the biggest things is, if somebody's going to be starting something like this, get your quality coaching in line, and prep those guys to have that mission like we do, and you express it on a daily basis.
There's a lot of thoughtfulness into what you into what you just said. There's an excitement when somebody is putting together a new project, a new idea. Maybe that project's a new business, and some people maybe they get excited about the wrong thing, and you see some people who they go and order 1,000 business cards before they have one person who says they like their product, right? And you guys have put so much thought, and you mentioned like little things like insurance, like those are adult type of things that you need to have in place. If you're doing this type of endeavor, whether you have one kid or 50 kids that are your clients, like those are the type of things that, hey, I like your logo. I said that. It was like the first words out of my mouth. Honestly, doesn't matter. Like it's about you, your staff, your heart, your mission. It's about those things. And it's not whether or not you got the business cards or the cool pullovers. It's like, let's get our ducks in a row. Let's go out and get our first client, and then let's go get our 10th client, and then we got things like bills to pay and salaries to pay, and those are. I'm glad you said all that. Everything you just said is like, if you're a new guy, you gotta have. I think you said you gotta have a plan in place, and these are part of the plan. Like, okay, maybe if you're about to start your first private lessons in your backyard, maybe you don't need business insurance. Maybe. But by the time you begin taking some money from somebody and you got 2 or 3 of them, those are thoughts that you need to begin, figuring out and having a plan in place and talking to people who maybe are a couple steps ahead of you. Cool stuff, man. Let me ask one last question, and then we'll let you guys go. What's one change that could be made in travel baseball that you think would have the biggest positive impact? If you could wave a magic wand, what's something each one of you guys maybe could tweak or change to make things a little bit better?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I think for me, I would love to see some type of, company, maybe USA Baseball comes in and does an actual certification for travel level coaches. I think coaches today, a lot of parents are starting these travel teams and they're forming them out of rec level programs. And, it's because little Johnny wants to play on a travel team. Maybe he got cut from another team and a dad starts his own organization. And, how much does that dad know? How much experience does that guy have in the baseball world? How many connections does he have to help kids get to where they need to be? So I think some type of structured formal certification that, maybe it isn't that challenging, but I think coaches need to be put under some type of, an expectation and a level of, hey, I understand this game and I know how to teach it properly so that kids can thrive and kids can get better. Because I can tell you right now, I've been playing this game since I was 4 years old. I'm 36 this summer. And I stayed with the game because I love it. Nobody ever had to tell me, hey, Dave, go pick up your glove, go pick up your bat, go practice, go get better. That was on me. I loved it. I had intrinsic motivation. But a lot of kids today that we coach, they go to practice, they stand in a line of 10 to 12 kids, and they get 5 ground balls, and they're expected to get better. Yeah. So I think there needs to be some type of formal training, some type of certification for coaches.
How about how about we take a step back and just say, can we get a background check on all these coaches? I don't even care if some of them know anything about baseball. I just want to make sure they're not some kind of legal train wreck.
Right.
But the concept is so strong that some organizing body, whether it's USA Baseball or maybe even the ABCA, could be the group that's sort of I think what I just described is out there and what you just described is out there, but it's not at scale. You know what I mean? Exactly. There's some coaches who they're getting.
I'm pretty sure Austin, field hockey, I'm pretty sure those coaches at the travel level, they have some type of a formal certification where they're, parents can trust hey, I can look this coach up and I know, what level they've been at or what level certification that they're at so that they're qualified to coach my kid based on their skill level. I think it would just help the game. I think it would keep, I think it would help with retention in youth athletes because I think it would, make practices more fun and kids would, see themselves get better and maybe stick with the game longer.
Yeah. Anything else to add? I gave both you guys opportunity to wave your magic wand here.
Yeah, just for everybody in the game. I mean, we heard a saying from Larry Williams, old Cub Scout, and he's actually with Frostburg State now. His son's coaching there, Anthony Williams. This game isn't a microwave. So a lot of youth parents and youth coaches are trying to look for that quick fix and get their kid drafted at 11 years old, and that's not how it works. Because I truly believe, and we truly believe, the game's going to take care of you if you respect it. And if you don't, even by the littlest things of hustling it on and off the field, that's just going to knock you down on the ladder trying to get to the higher level. So it's not a microwave. You got to put in time. You got to really embrace into the process and just truly think all around how to be a good person, and that'll just really shine on the field. And that's what we truly believe in. So it's not a quick fix.
I'm just chuckling. I love that saying. That is an awesome saying. It is not a microwave. It's absolutely true. Dave, Greg, I appreciate your time today. I just love the mental image of you guys literally rolling out of camp. You're sitting in the bleachers, you're in a quiet spot on beautiful campus of Johns Hopkins University, and just chit chatting with me, so that myself and my 4 or 5 listeners are going to get to know you guys a little better today. So that's pretty cool. I'm going to end the call there. Don't hang up though. Just give me 2 more seconds of your time, but I really appreciate it. Hang on 1 second.
Rich, we appreciate you, man.
Thank you.